Hello and welcome to week 9 of the Transfer Portal CFB Gambling Show. I'm joined by Matt, and Drewster's finally back after a long hiatus. But before we get into it, a word from our sponsor.
Winning season has officially returned, and with the NCAA back in action, plenty of opportunities to win at MyBookie. Whether you're a seasoned bettor or a first-timer, MyBookie gets you the most for your money with a double deposit bonus up to $1,000 for first-time account creators. To claim your bonus, sign up and use promo code TRANSFER on your first deposit, and you'll instantly double your money with MyBookie. Bet on team win totals, predict the national championship winner, or use the MyBookie prop builder to give yourself the edge you need to secure the bag. Bet anytime, anywhere. I messed that up, but it's anytime, anything, anywhere, everything you can think of with MyBookie.
Thank you, MyBookie. We love you, MyBookie, even though I don't think any of us use MyBookie.
I use MyBookie for every bet. In fact, I have a bet on the Swedish Hockey League.
Oh,
yep.
What is that? Like S Liga or something, or is that Finland? I don't know.
No clue, but shout out Merles for giving me a hockey play.
All right. So we're back, week 9. I have to check my record because I'm like the past 4 weeks I've been going 500, and I don't know. I'm gonna check right now, actually. But yeah, how are you guys doing? How are you feeling about this slate?
Hate it.
I like it a lot more than everyone else, I think.
Slate sucks.
Yeah, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Again, I went small. Once again, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My parlay this week. Woo boy! But we'll get into that later. So, we'll kick it off with. This isn't the most interesting noon game because there's a bunch of good noon games, I think. But for me, it's the most interesting game. I'll be there. I'll be in the building. My alma mater, Penn State, getting 15.5 at Beaver Stadium in Happy Valley. I'm on Penn State plus 16 just because whenever they play Ohio State, it's never a blowout. It's always a close game, and I think that'll stay true to this. Penn State probably loses by 2 touchdowns. I thought about making this my lock, but I can't put too many eggs in one basket. So it's just going to be my first play of the day. I'll probably have a couple units on it. It's not my lock, but I like Penn State plus 16. I think that the defense is good enough to hold up, to run with Ohio State's offense. The secondary is really, really talented, which is people aren't talking about. I know how Ohio State has these great receivers, and CJ Stroud's incredible. Penn State's secondary is really good. The defense looked really good against Minnesota last week. It just kind of comes down to Sean Clifford in the offense. If they can run the ball, they'll be able to keep up. If they stop running the ball and Clifford throws the ball 40 times, they're screwed. So I'm going to hope that doesn't happen, and Penn State's going to cover the 16.
Well, I have the opposite. I have Ohio State minus 15.5.
You're a coward.
I think there's a big gap between the top teams in the country and the rest of the good teams in the country. And we saw that gap when Penn State played against Michigan, and both of us believed in Penn State, and they got blown the hell out. I just think Ohio State's significantly better than most of the other teams in the country, with Penn State being one of the teams the most. I think they win this game by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not at any point where I can say, oh, Penn State sucks, because then I throw a ricochet shot at myself. But yeah, I agree with Matt. Ohio State, I think they're the number 1 team in the country by a margin, not a sizable margin, but a margin there is. And Penn State over the last few weeks, yes, they clobbered Minnesota. And then who'd they play the week after? Oh, it was actually Michigan was the week before Minnesota.
Yeah.
I'm mixing weeks up. So yeah, I think this is just a weird spot for Penn State. It's an 11 a.m. kick because thanks a lot, Fox. You suck. But it should have been the whiteout. Should have been the whiteout game.
At 6 a.m. Start tailgating at 6 a.m.
I hate having to go to stadiums at 6 a.m. It is awful. I hate it. But yeah, it's just Ohio State. I love their offense. The one thing I do want to see is the last time Ohio State played a good defense, Notre Dame, they really struggled in that first half. Are we going to see that kind of resurface here against Penn State? Are they going to have a slow first half and then explode in the second? Hopefully not, because I do think Ohio State is a clearly superior team. Sorry, Dave. But I don't have a side just because that number is a little strange. I feel like it should be a tad bit higher. But you know what? You said Penn State always plays them close. And I do think Singleton's enough of a dog to keep him in it if he can run the ball.
Yeah, and then Katron Allen, the other freshman they split carries equally. They're different kind of runners, but he's just as good as Singleton. I love both those guys. It's gonna come down to the run game in the end. I saw somebody put on Reddit and they went through it was an Ohio State guy on Reddit, and he went through every single drive of how he thinks the game is gonna go. And he said Penn State jumps out. It's like a 10-3 lead early. And then eventually they wind up losing like 31-17 or something. And I was like, that's exactly what's going to happen, probably. So, I mean, I like the 16. I mean, I'm going to be there all day. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. So let's move on. Next game, TCU West Virginia. I don't think any of us have an official play in this. I just kind of wanted to touch on it because the spread makes no sense to me. TCU is a 7.5-point favorite, 2-touchdown favorite, wherever you can get it on the road at West Virginia. West Virginia just got walked by Texas Tech. They lost 48-10, and now they're only a touchdown dog at home at noon in the mountains. Fishy, fishy, fishy.
If this was 6.5, I probably would have had it, but it being 7.5 being over a touchdown just scares me. So if someone other wants to buy it down to 6.5 and take the juice, I think you'll be fine. But I definitely agree. It's weird. TCU's been the best team in the Big 12 clearly the entire year, but
I agree with you on TCU being the best performing team in the Big 12. They've also gotten by on the skin of their teeth last few weeks. I mean, Kansas State, Adrian Martinez goes down. Oklahoma State, they have to claw back in the fourth quarter. It's just been such a weird season. And obviously, they're such a talented team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. When you're talking about them going against a West Virginia team that doesn't know what the letter D stands for, defense, they don't know where the heck that is. They didn't have that against Texas Tech. They didn't have it against Baylor, even though they still beat Baylor because Baylor sucks. So that's a different story for a different time. The spread is just so strange. TCU's offense has been dynamic. How is West Virginia going to be able to stop Quentin Johnston? I don't know, but Vegas knows something we don't, which makes me scared.
Yeah, that's why I don't like it. And you're right. TCU is coming off a couple of emotional wins. I think they have looked like the best team in the Big 12 just because they're pulling off these wins. But Vegas is like, I don't know if they're trying to trap us with everyone taking TCU if they know something, which they always do. But I don't know, man. I mean, I was leaning West Virginia, but I want to stay away. Maybe
Here's what I'll
take it
say.
on Saturday, but it's not an official play. Yeah.
The final score is either 52-10 TCU or it's 34-31 West Virginia.
Yep. I completely agree with that.
DJ Donaldson back?
Good question.
I know he had a bad looking injury, but I don't know if he's playing again or if that was like a series out season long. No, he's back.
No.
Yeah, he played last week.
Right. Let's see. What else we got here? I'm moving a little slow this afternoon. All right. Next play. This is a play for me. I don't know if you guys have anything in this. Oklahoma, Iowa State. I'm taking Oklahoma money line just because after just being embarrassed pretty much 3 weeks in a row, they got destroyed by Texas. That was really bad. Came back, beat Kansas. They needed that win. They're coming off a bye. And Iowa State, they've lost 4 in a row. I know Iowa State's at home, but Oklahoma is only a point. I think Oklahoma has better talent. I think Dylan Gabriel is better than Hunter Deckers. Really, the only weapon for the Cyclones is Xavier Hutchinson. Oklahoma, I think they'll be able to win this game on the road, just because they can put up more points. That's really it for me.
They should win as long as their defense does the job. I think their defense is on like 34 points a game or something terrible like that.
So it's been really bad lately.
If they can hold Iowa State to like 21 or 24, which is what they should be scoring, they should win this game.
Yeah, what's the total in this game?
It's like 56. The thing that worries me with this game is Iowa State slows down every game. They make every game the pace of a snail. And if we want to, I'm not going to play the if, what, but game, but if Xavier Hutchinson catches that ball against Texas, Iowa State beats Texas. So now we're talking about a completely different ball game. I don't think that's going to happen here, but I wouldn't play a side just because Iowa State plays very weird football. They don't want you to score points, but they also don't want to score points themselves. I can't trust Oklahoma at all. If I had a play, which it might be a Saturday morning play, I might take the under. Even though Oklahoma should be able to score, Iowa State should be like, do we want to play to win or do we want to play to win our under? And I think that this may be a genuine spot where it's like, well, at least we don't get blown out.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. I mean, the under, don't take the over in that game. Whatever you
no,
do,
please no.
Do not take that over.
Like, can I just rattle off the totals for their Big 12 games?
Yeah.
So 45 in Iowa State, Texas, 19 in Kansas State, Iowa State, 25 in Iowa State, Kansas. You can probably tell that the Cyclones play in the state of Iowa with how they're freaking scoring. 55 in Baylor, Iowa State, which was just a weird football game. So yeah, no total has gone to 56. And I don't know why this would be any different with Oklahoma just being as weird as they are.
They're a very weird team this year. I mean, they were what, 7 in the country until they lost to K-State, and then they fell off a cliff.
Yeah, that was
I
a
mean,
weird stretch.
that's not going to be a good game though. That's
They
going
were
to be a
6.
poopy game. Yeah, they were 6. Wow, that's Brent Venables, man. Be better.
What's going on? What's going on, man? I thought you were a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, just
Gave up 42 to Kansas without their starting quarterback. Gave up 49 to Texas, and you put up a deuce yourself.
Yeah.
Not Vaughn.
Yeah, I forgot that it was Bean against them. Not even Jalen Daniels. Jalen Daniels got hurt.
They got beaned.
The mean Bean, Justin Bean.
They got friggin' beaned.
All right, moving on. That's it for our noon slate. I have one of my lock is a noon game. Charlotte Rice. We all got placed in Charlotte Rice, right? Jesus. Rice is 4-3. That's kind of shocking.
They're about to be 5-3.
Yeah.
Charlotte
sucks.
Whoa.
Charlotte might be like, are they in contention for the most disappointing team in the country? Like that wasn't super highly ranked? Because a lot of people thought that they would be like at least nice, because a lot of people liked the quarterback. Grant DuBose obviously out wide, but that defense is, I feel like you would have as much success on defense if you put 11 fifth graders out there. I'm not kidding.
Probably.
I made a lot of money on Charlotte last week, and I'm pissed I didn't talk about it on the show. I bet FIU money line last week at like plus 900.
You know what, man? Shout out Tyrese Chambers.
I didn't talk about it on the show at all.
All right. I just want to bring are you scared of Rutgers this weekend, Drewster? How are you feeling about Rutgers?
So I want Athan to play. As weird as he looked, I thought he actually looked good against Penn State. You may look at the stat sheet and you may be like, oh my gosh, how can you think a guy looked good when he had like 35% completion percentage? He had some very nice throws. I remember the one on the left sideline to Lemeke Brockington that got them out of the shadow of their end zone. That was a beautiful bucket ball. He had some nice plays to Brevin Spann-Ford. I want him to play because I want the experience for him going into next year. But Rutgers, like, their defense is fine. Their offense, like, this needs to be a get-back game for Minnesota's defense. Their defense has been thrashed the last 2 weeks. This needs to be a shutout. Anything other than a shutout for the Minnesota defense, and I'm going to be severely disappointed, because that Rutgers offense is it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
No,
so those are our hypothetical plays, pretty much. Just chatting about ball. Now we're back on the official card. Old Dominion, Georgia State is an official play from Matt, I believe.
It is fact. Give me the Old Dominion money line here. So the spread's at 4, which 4 is a weird number. I don't want to take it. They win by touchdown. So give me the field goal instead. Old Dominion's been on a bit of a roller coaster of the year. So is Georgia State, actually. But I like them to go back up against a Georgia State team that's been struggling lately. Georgia State has been one of the worst defenses in the country, and with Old Dominion having the nation's leading receiver on its team, I expect him to have a field day, and I think Ollie Jennings is going to go crazy, and Old Dominion wins this game.
Yeah, and I don't know if you mentioned it or not. Maybe I'm just deaf. Old Dominion's the 4-point dog. They're not 4-point favorites.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
I'm at plus 145.
You're just deaf.
Yeah, okay, my bad. But yeah, I like that play. Georgia State, they started off 0-4, won 2 straight. Then they got pummeled by App State. Old Dominion, they usually play a little bit more low-scoring games. I like their defense a little bit more, but yeah, Ollie Jennings. I saw a stat today. He has the highest. Let me check real quick because it's actually such a interesting stat. So, Parker Stats War. I feel like I shout him out on every show. It has opportunity share on the x-axis if you want to visualize at home. Yardage share on the y-axis. Ollie Jennings, by a mile, has the best ratio of yardage share to opportunity share. The only person that's relatively close is Zay Flowers. And Zay Flowers, if you know, is a freaking animal. It's just unfortunate he plays for that garbage college up in the Northeast.
They suck.
I don't even want to say their name.
Don't even say the city.
Yeah. The only thing
I like that Old
Old
Dominion pick a lot. I was thinking about taking it as a straight as well, but I figured I'd just lump it into my super dog parlay later. I might take it straight. I probably will. I like Old Dominion. I've liked them all year. I had their money line. They lost last week, right? To Georgia Southern. Yeah.
Yeah, the loss was like 28-23.
Yeah, I like them a lot.
But that's probably why they're dogs, just because Georgia State beat Georgia Southern two weeks ago, and then
but it's like it's weird where it's like the Sun Belt is the way that these lines come out at the MAC is the same way, that if one team has like an osmosis loss to a team, the line will show that even though the team's been playing better. Like, it doesn't matter how the team's been playing. All that matters is the wins and losses in those conferences and how the line's going to be set.
Yeah, the Vegas apparently loves the transitive property.
Yeah, they love MMA math.
So next up is Oklahoma State and K-State. That's the next one because we don't have anything in Florida, Georgia. That game's going to be an absolute bloodbath. So Oklahoma State, K-State. I have Oklahoma State money line. I think that K-State is only 1.5 favorite here just because they're at home. I think Oklahoma State is a lot better. Kansas State has a couple nice wins, but they didn't impress me against TCU. Oklahoma State, who's their loss to? It's somebody not good, right?
TCU.
That's right. It's TCU. Yeah, in overtime. Yeah. I think Oklahoma State is the best team in the Big 12. I like Oklahoma State a lot. I like Spencer Sanders. I think they have a good defense. Adrian Martinez does not move the needle for me. He never has. So it's the Cowboys money line for me.
Yeah, I agree. I also had Oklahoma State money line there. I just don't think Kansas State has it. Like, Oklahoma State's wins have been better, and obviously their loss is better. They both lost to TCU, but then Kansas State also lost to Tulane, where they put up like 9 points. So and Oklahoma State coming off a good win against Texas, I think they're going to continue that momentum and beat Kansas State pretty easily.
I completely agree. You know what? Add Oklahoma State money line to my card because I've never been a fan of Kansas State this year. I always thought coming into this year, like, people are hyping up Adrian Martinez because he left Nebraska. Yes, we understand how absolutely disgusting Lincoln, Nebraska is when it comes to the state of their football team. But Adrian Martinez really didn't help them. If you watched Adrian Martinez play football at Nebraska, I had to watch it live. I wanted to pour bleach in my eyes. It was that bad. Now, granted, props where props is due. He's been better this year, but he hasn't been to the goodness of what I think Spencer Sanders is when he's fully healthy. I'll take Oklahoma State. Their defense has played a little bit better over the last few weeks. At the beginning of the year, it looked garbage. If we want to remember that Central Michigan backdoor cover of the century.
That was great.
I'll take Oklahoma State here. I think this is beautifully setting up a Big 12 title game of Oklahoma State rematching with TCU.
I think that'd be a great game. I'm glad we're all in unison on this one.
I don't want that. Give me a sucky team against TCU because I got TCU to win the Big 12 plus 1400.
Kansas, here we go.
Let me get Kansas.
But then I feel like if you had to play Kansas, you're that just ounce scared. You're that ounce. Because
I
if they,
don't. It depends how healthy Daniels
well,
is.
they would need him to get to the Big 12 title game.
Yeah, I don't think they will though, because
No,
they're
no,
kind of,
they're going 5-7,
yeah.
which, my gosh, Mike
So
Lee,
next,
give me some.
yeah. All right, so we're all in Oklahoma State. It makes me very happy that we're all agreeing on that because now I'll just hammer it. But next up, Wake Forest, Louisville, in a weird spread because I love Wake Forest. They're only 3.5 point favorites at Louisville. I know we were talking about this earlier. What do you guys think about this?
And Vegas knows something, and Vegas always scares me. I'm still taking Wake Forest -3.5, and I think they're that much better than Louisville. And it's not like Louisville is a fine home. Cardinal Stadium's fine, but it's not like it's like some massive home field advantage that's moving the spread more than 6 or 7 points. Because I feel like on a neutral field, Wake Forest Louisville should be probably a 10-point spread for Wake. Like they're significantly better than Louisville, in my opinion. And I don't understand. Oh, dog parlay.
Dog on the pod for the dog parlay.
Why is this dog not held for the parlay?
I'm gonna try to get him to. But we'll get there.
Anyways, Wake Forest is really good. Louisville is only okay. Give me Wake Forest -2.5.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I love Sam Hartman. I love the Demon Deacons. I wish they would bring back that old school logo, the guy's head. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
I'm all for that.
speaking of mini tangent, have we seen the retro helmets that Wazoo's bringing out tonight?
Love them.
I took Wazoo money line because of
Yeah.
It's making me want to bet Cam Ward, man.
If this wasn't coming out tomorrow and it was coming out today, that would be an official play for me. Wazoo. But
I might buy the half point. I might buy the half point right before game time because it's at 7 right now. And man, Utah just can't stop anybody. Yeah, with
USC on the last 3 drives.
With the Louisville game, it's like Wake Forest should win by 20 points. Now, granted, I said Pitt should win by 20 points last week, and they got hammered. So maybe that's a sign.
I took Pitt money line because of you, and it wasn't even close.
Sorry, but
the
thing that scares me the most, the one thing Wake is not good on is defense, and it's a pretty big thing.
Yeah.
And Pitt's defense, I thought last week, you know what, their defense is solid. They got cooked. They got Dalvin cooked by Malik Cunningham, and that makes me very scared about, is Wake Forest going to get even more thrashed by the absolute stud talent that gets sometimes hidden because of the garbage program that he plays for.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I think Wake Forest is just way too good on offense. I think Sam Hartman's way too good. So I'm not super duper concerned about that. We'll see though. Next up, I mean this isn't we'll get to UCF Cincinnati, but Nebraska Illinois 3 ABC beat eyeballs. I don't want to watch that. They're both Illinois is 17 in the country somehow. I'd say they're a good football team. I don't know. I think they take care of Nebraska, but Nebraska's weird. They're feisty. Casey Thompson's a good quarterback on a terrible team. Maybe something happens in that one.
I think this is the perfect storm for Illinois to show people that, hey, we're more than just a good football team. We're not only just a bunch of good dudes with a good coach. We're actually a very good football team. I really like Illinois. This is just the worst spot you can be in if you're a Nebraska football team. That number one, you thrive off of passing the football. Now, granted, they have a run game, but Illinois' defense in general is stellar. But watch that secondary. Devin Witherspoon is a guy that has been absolutely skyrocketing up NFL draft boards this year. And then you go to the other side of the football. Nebraska, what's the number one thing we've said about Nebraska all year outside of Scott Frost? You're a stupid moron of a head coach.
Sucks.
Not even just their defense. Their run defense is absolutely horrendous. Yeah. I circle back. They played North Dakota, not state, North Dakota, the Fighting Hawks.
Dakota.
And they almost lost to them. They almost lost to UND. Why? Because they let off big runs. They let off big runs. Now, if I'm Illinois, I'm watching that game. I got Chase Brown. I got a good offensive line. I should be able to run 75 times out of 75 plays and probably average about 75 yards per carry.
Yeah, that's a good point. I agree. He's going to run the ball 40 times, and he's going to have 250 yards, and that's just how that game's going to go.
If you're on Prize Picks, bet his overs on everything you can.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely do that. So next up is Cincy UCF. UCF coming off a loss to East Carolina at home. No, East Carolina on the road, excuse me, because they weren't going to lose that game at all. I had that in the upset show. I needed that win. Cincinnati is the most fraudulent team in the top 20 by far. UCF is a 1.5 point favorite. Game is interesting. Matt, I believe it's you.
Yeah, the game's weird on the spread, but I have the over here. I think both of these offenses have been pretty good. They're both averaging over 35 points a game. And UCF's defense has strangely been the better defense, and I don't believe in that being the case. Actually, I don't think that trend's going to hold up. So I like both of these teams to put up at least 28 points. So that's 28-28. That gets my 56 right there. I think this total gets into 60. I think both these offenses are pretty good. I think both of these defenses are only okay.
Yeah, I like that play for sure. I mean, I've been big on UCF overs. I mean, that's what I kind of thought UCF ECU was going to be like. I think I gave out the over in that. It wasn't even close, but the dog is leaving. He's abandoning me. Come on, dude. It was your time to shine for the dog parlay part, and you're leaving before it.
Bring him back for the dog lays.
I have to go upstairs and get him. Yeah, I like that. I like that over for sure because UCF's defense is not good. Cincinnati's defense is shoddy. People think it's great, but I don't think so. So I like that play.
Yeah, and the thing that was hiding in the UCF ECU over is UCF moved the ball. They had 4 turnovers in the red zone. They moved the ball down the field. They just couldn't score. They couldn't put it in the end zone.
Yeah. No Pirates.
It's unfortunate.
So next up, this is a gross play. You guys are going to agree it's a gross play, but I think it's a smart play.
Do I need my tomatoes?
No tomatoes for this one. Okay. It's gross, but I'm taking the under in Iowa Northwestern. Nobody's going to score this game.
That's not gross. That's smart. You like money.
Well, I mean, it's like a gross game. Yeah, yeah. No, it is a smart one. Thank you.
Yeah.
Under in that.
I mean, I want to say, and maybe this is just me talking on my butt, when the spread or it's not the spread, the total opened at like 31.5, and it's been bought up a ton. I want to say I saw someone tweet, well, if that was the spread for the last 4 games, 3 of them would have gone under. That's just not a high scoring game. And we can also realize that Northwestern's playing football. Bet under. Not even just Iowa, because Iowa occasionally goes over. You know, we had the Rutgers game went over, unfortunately, but now it's Northwestern. Northwestern, if the ball's not in Evan Hull's hands, it's not moving.
Yeah, Evan Hull's the only good part of that team.
Yeah.
Skoronski's
a freaking bulldozer. He is a human forklift. That is my comparison for him, but unfortunately, offensive linemen don't score points as much as they should.
Yeah. If only. Yeah, so moving on, that'll get us to that's the end of the 3:30 picks for us, I believe, right? Yeah, that's it. Did I miss something?
I don't think so.
This is just an underwhelming slate.
Yeah, it's nothing really moves the needle, but we're getting our plays in. 7:00. Nobody's playing this. Tennessee, Kentucky. I think Tennessee's going to blow out Kentucky. I think Will Levis is not good. Kentucky is fake. They're fraudulent. And Tennessee, I mean, no, I don't want to add it. 12 is a weird number. I don't like it. I'm not going to add it, but I think Tennessee wins that game big.
Yeah, I've been saying Kentucky's fraudulent all year, so I agree.
I do think Kentucky's fraudulent. I do think we'll see a good statistical performance from Levis, though, just because of how bad Tennessee's pass defense is. And out of the entire 2021 season, I want to say Levis only had 1 or 2 very good statistical performances passing. One of them was against Tennessee.
Yeah, that's true.
But I do agree. Tennessee should just outscore them by a good margin.
Yeah, he imagine they lost to Kentucky after beating Alabama.
I'm going to see way too many. Oh my gosh! Well, y'all thought Hendon Hooker was better than Will Levis in the NFL draft? No. Just I'm going to delete Twitter if I have to see those tweets.
They should have lost to UT Martin last week.
They should have lost to UT Martin. I don't know why I'm doing an accent. Like
I like the accent. It adds
Kentucky,
character.
SEC accent makes sense.
SEC.
So next game on the board. This might be. I think this is the last game. Oh no, it's not the last game on the board for us. Colorado State, Boise State. Colorado State, our favorite team to bet against. Matt,
I
take
do
it away.
love betting against them. I don't love betting Boise with a 27-point spread. So
Yeah.
I took the under here. The under's at 43, and with a 27-point spread, that means they're projecting this to be 8-35. And I agree, Colorado State probably doesn't score more than a touchdown, but I don't think Boise State puts up 35 on Colorado, especially being such a run first team. I think Georgia Line is going to run 50 times this game. They're just going to keep on pounding the rock and get out of here early because Boise State's just such a run heavy offense. I don't think they're going to put up 35 unless Colorado State turns the ball over in their own session 50 times. In which case,
Which is
they got me.
very possible.
It could happen. I'm not putting it out of the question, but I'm hoping they only do it once.
Yeah, Boise State, ever since they made the change to Taylor Green, they've looked so much better. I mean, they're probably going to be in contention to win the Mountain West. As crazy as that sounds, with how bad they were to begin the year. Colorado State, and I'll talk about trash a little bit later, but we all know if there's one state we fade in the entire country with football, top two, possibly not two, Colorado.
All the teams now. We
Air Force
lost first.
Yep. Air Force, you got
Air Force now too.
You got relegated.
My golden child for a little bit, and they really let me down.
Yeah, and then they brought home all F's on a report card. Now they're
the rest of Colorado. School. The rest of Colorado corrupted our poor little Air Force.
We stink, man.
I'm so sorry to Air Force. No, I'm not. Y'all suck.
Yeah, it's really. I was like, oh, there was a point where I was like, Air Force could make a run and maybe get a New Year's Six bowl. And they lost to Wyoming, and all my hope was lost.
Yeah, and then Air Force lost to Utah State, and that was like the kill shot.
That was it. Yeah.
Great diss track.
All right, so if we move to the other team in Colorado, like the Fade, I'm staying away from them because I don't like Arizona State being a 2-touchdown favorite. That's something I won't touch. I want to win this game, maybe.
No, I kind of like Arizona State in this game. I don't think they're awful. I think they're very close to it, but I don't think they're there. And I think Colorado is, man, what's an adjective I don't use a lot when it comes to trash? I'm trying to think. So I say atrocious. I say disgusting. I say absolutely eye bleach. That's kind of a good one. It's just so bad. It's so bad. And you can say, oh, but they beat Cal. Cal sucks too. Cal sucks. And that's also the interim head coach. You know, congrats on your first win, free win. Colorado's awful. If I had to take something in this game, I'd take Arizona State because there are some at least half decent pieces on that team. With Colorado, I don't see any upside at all.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe I'll take it. This is going to be a late night game. We'll see if I'm still awake after.
It'll be one of those games where it's like, if you're down on the rest of the day, which none of us are because we're all going to go undefeated.
We're all going to win.
Except for Matt and Dave, who are opposing Ohio State, Penn State. You know what?
One of us got to win.
Well, one of you has to win unless it's like a push. So, you know what? If you can score half a point, do it. But it's one of those games where, you know, you bet it if you're either really up, just trying to absolutely have an exclamation point to end the day, or you're a little down and you're just trying to get back to even.
Yeah. I saw a dude with the crazy push. It was about like a week ago. He had like a 14-leg parlay, and the last one was I forget. It was I think Bulls -4, I think, and the line had moved to 2.5, so he bet plus 2.5, and the Bulls won by 3. So not only did he hit his full parlay, he also hit his hedge. That's a dream.
That's just, you know what? Why can't I get that, man? Why can't I?
Right? Oh Lord! All right, the last play on our card. What's up?
One day, my 14-team parlay.
One day, my $1 parlay to win 90 grand will hit. The last play on our card, North Carolina Pitt. And Drewster, take it away.
Pitt, I need to talk to you for a second. Pat Narduzzi, we need to have a man-to-man. We need to have a man-to-man. Look, what I just saw last week was disgraceful. It was pitiful. Those are two new adjectives I don't use a lot. I needed them for you because that performance was absolutely downright trash. It was bad. You got cooked. It's like, what's that Twitter video? I ain't gonna lie, I got cooked. I forgot what the boxer said that. Absolutely insane how you can be that bad. Keaton Slovis, man, that was, I haven't been a fan of him. Now I'm really not a fan of him. And now you got to play UNC. You get cooked by Malik Cunningham. Malik Cunningham, very good quarterback. You know who else is a very good quarterback? In fact, probably better quarterback? Drake May. Drake May is a top five quarterback in the country. Next year, he's going to be top 3. He's going to be in the Heisman conversation with Quinn Ewers and Caleb Williams. And my gosh, you are about to get absolutely obliterated. You're going to get obliterated by him. You're going to get obliterated. I believe Hampton is still one of their top backs.
Mm-hmm.
My gosh, just UNC -3. And I said this last week with Pitt. I'm going to say it this week with UNC. I might outspread them to -13.5.
Ooh. You know who UNC's leading rusher is?
Drake May.
Drake May.
Drake May just does it all, man. I freaking love Drake May. I watched him against Florida A&M, and I'm like, look, first off, Gene Chizik, you suck for spoiling my first ever bet. Second off, Drake May, your first ever collegiate game. I understand it's FAMU, but man, he looked stellar. He's looked stellar all year. Massive fan of Drake May.
Can I touch on one more game that I didn't bet, but I was very tempted to?
Of course.
Ole Miss -2 against Texas A&M. A&M sucks.
Yeah, they do.
I was tempted to take Ole Miss -2. I didn't do it, but for any degenerates out there, go ahead and bet on that.
Yeah,
Ole Miss was proven to be one of the most fraudulent top 10 teams ever. They just kept going up the ranks because they didn't lose, and then they're playing LSU, and LSU was like they're like a 5 touchdown favorite, I think, and I was like, they're done. Ole Miss is gonna get crushed, and they did. So
5 touchdown.
I mean 5 points. Sorry, did I say touchdown? Wow.
LSU was indeed 35-point favorites.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
I mean, would they not have covered? Wasn't it like 49 to something?
I think it was like 49-30 or something.
Yeah, it
was not very close. It was 45-20. All right. So that's our slate. A little bit of a smaller slate because I know a lot of teams are on bye, but hopefully I'll go back. I'll be back to normal and take like 15 games next week. I know I've been keeping this. Oh my God, we have Maction next week. All right, I'm going to give out Maction plays. This is for next week because we're not going to record till Friday. Take the over in Kent State, Ball State, and then take Buffalo spread against Ohio. Those are my 2 plays for Tuesday.
I'll be joining
Wednesday. Northern Illinois spread, and Bowling Green's 4-4, and Western Michigan money line. All right, those are my Maction plays. That's it. Remember that. I'm going to write those down. So now it's time for one of the more fun parts of the show, the parlay corner. Matt, you start us off. I'm gonna go get my prop. I'll be right back.
Andrew, you start us off. I know you got one. I'm gonna build them real quick.
Dog. He's the prop.
Okay. All right. So while Dave is getting his dog, I'm gonna leave my dog lay for later. This is called the fade trash parlay because you know what we do here. We fade trash. I've been doing it all year. Dang successful on it. This is plus 521. I've got 3 team totals for teams that are trash. Kind of why it's fade trash parlay. Number 1, NC State team total under 27 against Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's defense is competent. I cannot say the same thing about NC State's offense without Devin Leary. It is pathetic. It's putrid. It's every adjective I've probably said 17 times on this show already. I don't know how on earth they touched 27 points. They scored 9 against Syracuse. I think this team maybe scored 17, maybe 20. If they scored 27, I'd be in freaking shock. Next up, Northwestern. I understand it's a very low team total, and I was favored by double digits. I'm still taking Northwestern under 10.5. They will not score. They will not score unless they're given a pick 6. They're not scoring on offense. They're not going to score on special teams. Only way they can score is on defense, and I don't think Iowa's just going to throw a pick six, which is kind of weird to say, seeing that they have the two worst quarterbacks in the country. Northwestern is just that bad. If Iowa punts on every first down, I am not kidding. Punt from your own 20 with Torrey Taylor, I don't think Northwestern would score a touchdown. That's how bad they are. And then next up, UVA. Oh, man, I could go on a Tony Elliott rant. I won't because I've probably done it 7 times already. UVA team total under 23. Interesting statistic for all you. They've not scored more than 20 points against an FBS opponent this year. Not more than 20. And they've played some bad teams. Remember, they played Old Dominion. Old Dominion's got a solid defense, but it's Old Dominion. UVA had one of the most statistically proficient offenses last year, and this year they suck. So I'm going to take them under 23 against a Miami team that doesn't have an awful offense. Now, granted, they just got thrashed by Duke, but Duke's offense is actually very fun to watch with Riley Leonard. I cannot say the same thing about Virginia. Virginia team total under 23. NC State team total under 27. Northwestern team total under 10.5. That's plus 521, 1 unit on.
I love it.
We've missed entries to parlays.
They're the best.
Now,
And you never know
granted,
what's going on with
they
them.
don't hit a lot, but when they hit, it's very
Woo!
fun.
I'll let you go since you have a moving prop and it's on the
Oh,
time.
I got oh. It's time. This isn't a dog parlay, guys. This is a super dog parlay.
Oh.
See? Yeah, he likes it. All right. Super dog parlay. We got 4 dogs, all money lines. Will they hit? Probably not. But it's a super dog parlay.
No, they're hitting. They're hitting.
Half a unit on this bad boy. So we're gonna start off. This comes out Friday afternoon. We're starting the night off right with ECU money line. BYU's a mess. Holton Ahlers, the Pirates coming off a big win. I think they take care of business. And then we're getting a little sketchy here. We talked about this earlier in the show. West Virginia money line in the super dog parlay. Yeah, I know you don't like it, but it's in the super dog parlay, all right? And then Old Dominion money line in the super dog parlay. We talked about Old Dominion. I love Old Dominion. And then to round out the super dog parlay, late night SEC matchup. South Carolina coming off a big win. They're finally ranked. They're going to lose to Missouri.
I love that one.
Plus 135. Honestly, I could see 3 of them hitting. I think West Virginia is going to be the one that kind of kills it. But ECU money line, West Virginia money line, Old Dominion money line, Missouri money line, plus 45.77. $5 gets you back like $280. So do with that as you may. Maybe I'll switch out West Virginia. Probably not. But that's the super dog parlay. Oh. He's trying to sleep and I'm barking at him.
All right, Matt, do you want to go?
I got my 6.5 noon parlay. So all these are at noon, and all these spreads are 6.5. So I got TCU. I bet it up to minus 6.5 against West Virginia. Get so they only have to win by a touchdown. It's minus 130. Toledo minus 6.5 against Eastern Michigan. Toledo's one of the better teams in the MAC. Eastern Michigan has been okay. I don't expect that to keep up though. I think Toledo's going to cover that easily. Then I have Ohio State first half minus 6.5 against Penn State. All they got to do is win by a touchdown in the first half, and that covers. That puts you at plus 559. Bet $5, win 30.
Nice.
I like that.
All right. Should I go with my second lay?
Yep.
Second lay.
Yep. And this one does fit the theme. Hungry dogs eat trash.
Oh.
All right. So I will say, I loved the Missouri money line pick because I have it as well. Except you said you had it at like what, plus 135?
I think I got it at plus 135. Yeah.
I have it at plus 178. So different odds.
Really?
Yes. Tulsa.
Yours are much better.
I got it on my bookie.
Plus 145. Shout out my bookie. I'm moving right now.
Yeah. All right. Tulsa money line plus 112. SMU just sucks. I want to say that's who they're playing because I didn't write down their opponents. I assume it's SMU because I've been fading SMU a lot, and it's been pretty dang successful. And yes, they are playing SMU. They're 2-point dogs at home against SMU. Makes no sense. I'll take Tulsa. And then I know this is one Matt. I think we were talking a little bit before the show. He has an opinion on this game as well. I have Notre Dame. I don't think Syracuse is all that good. I think that people are going to take last week's game and be like, oh, they lost to the refs. No, they lost to themselves because they had a 4-0 turnover, difference, and they still lost. They had the one pick at the end of the game. I'm not going to count that because that was the end of the game. Notre Dame, they've looked a little bit better, but they also lost to Stanford. I think this is just a get back spot for them. Sean Tucker doesn't get the ball enough. Notre Dame, I feel like, is going to be able to run the ball enough. Low scoring game. Notre Dame's defense, I'm going to trust. Big play from Michael Mayer. Notre Dame money line, Tulsa money line, Missouri money line. Hungry Dogs beat Trash Parlay plus 1,273.
We got some dogs this week. I'm going to take every single parlay that we just talked about, and I'm going to be rich, and then I'm going to move to an island. So those are
all
our
you take all the parlays. You're going to buy an island.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy my own island. Now time for the locks. I you know what? Yeah, I'll start it off. All right. So 2 in a row. 2 in a row. Last week we hit Toledo, Buffalo. The week before we hit Buffalo against, I believe, UMass. Yeah, I had Buffalo against UMass. That hit as well. So now that brings me to, this is week 9 now. I'm 5-3 on locks. Wish I was undefeated. But yeah, so I'm sticking with the trend here. This is something that I have been doing for a while. This is a 5-star white whale play, lock of the week. We're going back with Toledo overs. Toledo, Eastern Michigan, over 55. I think this is the 3rd time or 4th time I'm taking a Toledo over as my lock. I love DeQuan Finn. I wish they would have beat Buffalo last week, but they still put up a lot of points. Eastern Michigan either puts up a lot of points or lets up a lot of points. I think Toledo puts up 45, and then Eastern Michigan puts up 20. They score 3 touchdowns, 21, whatever it may be. Toledo's going to score over 40 points. Eastern Michigan's going to be somewhere around 20, 55. It's going to go over by at least 10. That's a lock.
I'll go next. We lost a lock last week. We got robbed. Know why? I had Texas, Oklahoma State under 61. They ended at 73. 39 of those came in the first half. Not more than that. 49. 49 of those came in the first half. They only scored 20 points in the second half. That's how the game should have gone. First halves go crazy, whatever. We're getting back this week. We have Syracuse minus 2.5 against Notre Dame. Notre Dame's offense stinks. Michael Mayer is the only good player on that offense. And if I'm doing my math correctly, Notre Dame scored 14 against Stanford. That means they should score 0 against the Syracuse defense, and they shouldn't move the ball past that 50-yard line because Stanford defense is not good. Syracuse's defense is phenomenal. I don't think they're going to be able to move the ball very well. I like Syracuse to get right after they lost last week against Clemson in a game they probably should have won. So I like Syracuse here. Go orange.
All right. I stand here regrettably losing my last 2 locks after starting 5-1. We're now 5-3. Look, man, just last week was not fun because I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember my lock, but I had 3 total plays. One of them was my lock, the other 2 hit. So I wish I would have taken Duke because that was the easiest play ever, but I didn't make it. So now we got to go back to the well. We got to go back to what made us successful in the first place. And what that is fading people that suck at their job. Tony Elliott sucks at his job. Virginia team total under 23. I said earlier, they haven't scored more than 20 against an FBS opponent, and they're playing a Virginia Tech team that, granted, their offense sucks. Their defense isn't the worst. And I think this is just a game where if you can only score like 16 on Georgia Tech, like they did last week, I will gladly take under 23. If I could, I would probably do a double lock and have NC State. I don't think that hits either, but I'll take Virginia here. And by taking Virginia, I mean I'll take Virginia to win me money by them sucking because it's very favorable for me this year.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like all of our locks. So I'm on over 55 and Toledo, Eastern Michigan. Matt, it has Syracuse minus 2.5, and then Drewster has Virginia team total under 23.5. Is that
23?
Number?
Just the whole number. I could
straight 23.
Probably don't even need 23, but I'll take it.
They might score like 2 touchdowns. Who knows? But
they might.
That's our
I'm taking
show.
on Wicks.
thank you so much for listening. Uh, follow us, like, subscribe on YouTube. We'll be doing this every week for the rest of the year. Into bowl season, we'll keep it going. My dog says thank you for listening. His name is
Like the
Duke,
video for the
so-
dog.
His name is Duke, so he likes Duke. If Duke was playing today, that would have been his pick. But thanks for listening. Let's win some money.